Today we're reviewing the Kona Honzo Dl. So I've been excited to test the Honzo Dl. So far I've ridden the Honzo ST, the old one, the Honzo ESD, and now I get to try the DL, the Deluxe, the top of the line aluminum Honzo. We're gonna take this on some classic Sedona trails today, including part of Chuckwagon, Mescal, and Canyon of Fools. This just looks like a great all-round trail bike. It came in at a good weight. It's not too aggressive, which I'm actually liking. Not all bikes have to be aggressive. I'm thinking this would be a great bike for greens, blues, and a little bit of black diamond. And today we're gonna find out on those trails. One thing I wanna mention are these weird wings on the seat stays and the chain stays. I have no idea why they're thin here and then fat there and then back to thin. That's really weird. All right, I don't think the brakes have been bedded in. I need to chill out a little bit. Oh, it's Zippy. That's fun. Oh, it feels so much better than the old models with the 68-degree head angle. Now I'm running I think it's a 44 mil offset fork. This bike comes with a 51. We'll talk about offset later, but that's really the only difference from this from stock. It's too early to tell how the frame feels. We'll see. Oh, I love being able to fit a 150 dropper. I'm glad they shortened that seat tube. So this bike is really zippy. It feels really efficient. It's probably these light wheels and tires we got on here. But man, it accelerates quick. It's happy to accelerate. Hello. Have a good one. Yeah, that is zippy. Fast accelerating and fun. It feels more modern than the bikes like the Sur 9. Yeah, that's a nice bike. Real pleasant to ride. When I reviewed the Honzo ST, it bugged a lot of the Honzo fans. They wanted a glowing review. I'm sorry, it's nothing personal. I just don't like that bike, the old one. I'll bet the new one's fun. This bike is not as soft as the Honzo ESD. That bike was more compliant and supple. Oh, this is a fun riding position. It's sporty feeling, not just kind of neutral and dead. It's sporty and it's fun. This geometry feels really good for a trail bike. How's it going?
Great, man.
Good.
Have fun.
Me too. Yeah, it's just really balanced. At least on the ups, I like it. Zippy climber. And really good for all-day rides. Nice and light. Just scoots along. And it's an exciting ride. Really good. This has been a joy to climb on. A little bit stiff. It's peppy, and that's what hardtails should be. I don't know, hardtails that feel dead are kind of missing out on the joy of the hardtail. If you want a dead feeling hardtail, just get a dead feeling full suspension. Yeah, this has some good zip to it. One thing I love about these Honzos is that most people have a Kona dealer next to them. And you can often get one to try and pedal around in the parking lot. And that's so important. A lot of the bikes I review are mail order only or boutique. And it's hard to actually find one in real life, but Konas are pretty easy. I need to let some pressure out. I'm feeling a little skittish in this terrain. Okay, dropped about 2 psi front and rear. I'm about 24 in the back, about 22 in the front. Whoa, that Recon is slipping. Yeah, I don't do so well with the Recons here in Sedona. They're just slippery. All right, let's go for the bonus climb here. No problem. Went right up it. I wish the seat angle was a degree steeper. The seated position to the bars is a little long. Good afternoon.
Hello, how are you?
Great, how are you?
Good.
Good. Hi.
Hi.
Have a great day.
You too.
Bonus lines, let's do it. Not bad. It's a little bit of a harsh ride. It's pretty typical aluminum frame feel. Some aluminum frames are soft, this one is not. The Honzo ESD is noticeably more supple. Doesn't bounce around on the back as much. Doesn't transfer as much weight to you. This isn't as bad as the Common Sol Meta HT, that was super stiff. Or the Ruroc Conleon, that was super stiff. It's way stiffer than a Chameleon. In fact, it feels kind of close to the Carbon Chameleon in a bad way. What's cool about these Honzos is you can build them up however you want. You can make it as burly as you want or as lightweight as you want. Such a versatile platform. It's like the Volkswagen Beetle of cars. You can make a Baja Bug that's lifted, cut the top off in a desert blaster, or you could lower it, put some white walls on it, and have a car for the car show. You can add your own personality however you want, but it's a nice, affordable platform to start on. And even though those steel Honzos are heavy, I think it's worth it for out here in the West to have that better ride. This is bouncy. The traction's just not quite there that you have on a steel bike. Oh, it's fun with that short chainstay. I like the 2.3 Minion up front. That's a fun tire because it rolls fast because it's so narrow, but it grips pretty well. I would not argue if this bike was 1 degree slacker, but I just like slack bikes. Most people are going to love this as is. Reminds me a ton of the Nimble 9, but it's a harsher ride than the Nimble 9. But they feel very similar. I would feel sketched out on double black diamonds on this bike. So this bike is not for the thrill seekers looking to send it or go down the really steep stuff. But that's okay, most hardtails aren't. And this is really fun on the blues and greens. I still think 140 travels too much for a bike like this. Man, I even think 120 would be awesome with this Geo. Yeah, I just don't have the confidence to really let it loose. And a lot of those vibrations are making it to my ankles and hips and knees. And you feel it. If you're a heavier rider, or if you ride really wide tires and air down, you won't be as affected by that. But man, I couldn't imagine like a 120-pound woman riding one of these. It would just rattle her to pieces. It'd be so uncomfortable for a light rider. I love companies like Norco who design different tubing thickness on different frame sizes so that, you know, a smaller person who weighs less can get the same flex out of a frame that a 200-pound 6'5" guy does. Howdy. Oh, thanks so much. I'm all by myself. Have a great day. Hello. Thank you. I'm all alone. Yeah, it's just a little rigid, a little bit harsh. I'd be tired on a 3 or 4 hour ride out here in the west. Now, if you're in the Pacific Northwest, riding in Oregon and your trails are just smooth flow trails, this could be an awesome choice because it's light, it's cheap, it's zippy. It'd feel great on that stuff. But if you have chunk and bumps, I think you're gonna be sad. Ooh, that is some deep sand. Come on, little one. Little 2.3 tire. No. Have a good one. Whew, that was deep. Sugar sand. This is a really tough climb. Yeah, I got it. How you doing? Great. Have a good day. I did well. A little harsh, a little bumpy. Most people aren't riding hardtails in this chunk. We need rain. There's no traction, it's loose. The rocks are getting exposed as the dirt washes away with people riding it. Sedona just keeps getting rougher and rougher as the year goes on. This would make a fun little single speed if your trails are buff and smooth. That snappy acceleration would be a riot. Yeah, this feels like an aluminum version of the Nimble 9. It's stiffer and harsher. This is a fast rolling bike, real zippy, especially with these tires on it. It just wants to go fast on the flats. Now I really want to try the steel one. Almost feels carbon the way it rides. I think it's even a little bit stiffer than the DV9. Man, it's good to be alive and be outside, exercising. Yeah, this thing would make a great single speed, except for that stiff ride quality, but man, the rest would be great. The Nimble 9 does have a slightly more attack position for climbing with that steeper seat angle. And I like that a little more about the Nimble 9. This beautiful trail is called Mescal. If you're ever out here visiting, I recommend it. See if you can ride it, no dabs. Yeah, this thing loves to accelerate uphill. Oh, you can come on up.
Oh, we got a couple of these coming.
Okay, have a great day.
You too.
Thanks. Yeah, I find myself sitting on the nose of the saddle wishing the seat angle was just a little bit steeper. Come on, Honzo, we got this. Oh yeah. Yeah, I did well. We're at the infamous difficult and extreme junction. The extreme's a good one, but it's got a really punchy climb out that's super hard. So I'm going to choose difficult. This is so efficient and snappy. I find myself staying a few gears harder than optimal. Almost like it was a single speed and I forget, oh yeah, I've got gears. I don't have to charge up this. It just does so well at that. Yeah, that's nice. I'd definitely take this over the Growler 40, even the 50. The Growler was just a little too slack as a trail bike. A little too long and slack. This is a much better all-rounder. Oh boy. Oh, that's so nice how it accelerates through the chunk. You can accelerate up to a spot that's going to have poor traction, and because you've accelerated, you can coast through the bad traction spot. I love a Zippy bike like this. Really nice. You know, a bike I like even more than this is that Spot rocker. They have a real similar attitude on the trail, but the Spot's even peppier and more exciting, which is saying something. Howdy. Great. You can really move around on the bike because of that longer dropper. It gets out of the way. That's fun. I'm always hesitant to use the super stabilization on the GoPro because it makes everything look so smooth. You get an unrealistic expectation of a hardtail. They're bumpy, no matter how compliant they are, they're bumpy. And the smooth GoPro footage just makes it look like you're flowing and you're not affected at all. So I'm always conflicted on whether to make it a little bit shaky footage or really smooth footage and just give that misperception that the bike is so smooth you won't bounce around at all. Oh, what a beautiful day. This is a great bike for riding solo. And I prefer different bikes solo than with friends. I like the solo bikes for just hammering it out, and it's fun and peppy. I don't ride the double black diamond solo very often. So when I am solo, I want something that feels alive on the slower, more mellow trails. And then when I'm with my friends, I want something planted and stable that we can just goof around on all the time. Here we go. This gets spicy. Back wheel is skipping. It does like to jump and play if it's smooth enough. The corners well. Woo! That was a little freaky. I do wish this was a tiny bit slacker for the rowdy stuff. But the bike, you can really move around on it and get a lot of bike body separation. You really throw the bike around. The reach feels good. Oh, it's fun. This is such a good trail. This bike's really in control. It does want to steer with the bars just a tad. That makes it fun. I'm glad it's not any longer, or it'd be a handful. I'm getting a lot of vibrations to my hands in here. Just the nature of that frame. Party time. Fun. A good light zippy bike comes alive on a trail like this. Yeah, that wall ride is awesome. Woo! It's so bumpy on this thing. Oh, so bumpy. Oh, that's brutal. So if your trails are smooth, man, this thing's gonna be a ripper. Oh, so much fun. I love hardtails, and this one's fun. Just a little stiff. The Kona Honzo Dl is a very fun bike, especially at the price. It's a little ripper. It's super playful. It's very energetic. It's got a little bit of ADD in it. It just wants to sprint everywhere. I never used the 2 easiest gears on this. I just kept it in a hard gear and just pedaled up everything. Geo feels good. I'm glad it's no longer, and I'm glad it's no steeper. The ride's stiff, as I talked about a lot, and you do feel it. Heavier riders won't feel it as much, like people over 200, 220. You might actually like it. It might feel less noodly under you than some other bikes, but anyone under 180, you're gonna feel how stiff it is. Unless you just have rolling flow with no big roots or rocks. I do think this bike could be improved on to be the perfect bike for me. It would be a 2 degree steeper seat angle. It would be a 1 to 1.5 degree slacker head angle and a 130 fork. The 140 is not bad. I don't think you need 140 on a bike this zippy and peppy. You could even get away with a 120, and that would actually be really fun if you could design this around a 120, keep the same bottom bracket drop, same stack, degree slacker, 2 degree steeper seat tube angle, and a more compliant frame. Basically a completely different bike. That'd be really fun though. All right, let's rate this thing. Climbing, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. It'd be a 10 out of 10 if it wasn't so stiff. It accelerates quick and is zippy up it, but when it's chunky and hard to find traction, that stiff frame, it sounds stupid, but it does bounce you a little bit more. Cornering, I'm gonna give it a 9.5 out of 10. Really fun cornering. I didn't feel out of control anywhere. A lot of that was thanks to the DHF up front. But if you've been running 2.6s and cush core and heavy rims and all that, and your bike's kind of feeling dead, try a light wheel set with a 2.3 tire with the right tires for your terrain. Something fast rolling in the back and grippy in the front, man, it'll change the way your bike feels. Tires and wheels make more of a change on your bike feel than anything other than the frame. Playfulness, I'm gonna give this a 9.5 out of 10. It's not quite as playful as a Chameleon, but it's close. I love having that short rear end. It wanted to pop into manuals and play. Slashing those corners in that little canyon were super fun thanks to the short rear end. It was just an exciting bike to ride, and a lot of bikes I've been riding lately are kind of dull feeling and lack that excitement, and this bike has a lot of excitement. It's still not even close to as exciting as that Spot. That thing just set the new bar for what exciting can be, but it's also half the price. I like that these are available at dealers and people can throw a leg over them and see them in a shop. That means you're gonna see more of them around. Descending, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. It descended quite well, except for that harsh ride. It was actually more composed than I thought it would be with that 66 head angle. Like I said, it feels a lot like the Canfield Nimble 9, maybe a touch more capable in the steep stuff. It just feels like you could move around on it a little more. I don't know, those bikes ride quite similar, except that one's a lot more compliant. It doesn't beat you up, but it feels a little bit heavier. So they compare a lot there. Overall, this has been a fun bike. Thank you, Kenny, for letting me take it out. That's super nice of you. Kenny hasn't even ridden this yet. He's injured, and he said, hey, I got a bike. I can't ride it. Why don't you ride it? And I feel bad. It's his brand new bike, and I'm the first one to ride it. That doesn't seem right, but he insisted, and I'm so grateful to him. Thanks to all my patrons who support this channel and make it possible. There's a party in the mountains, and you're invited.